The worst men often seem to triumph, but life doesn't settle scores in public. It collects in silence. A gentleman doesn't chase revenge. He observes. For while you're healing in peace, karma is already at work, never missing its mark. You might think they've escaped lies, betrayal, manipulation. They walk away as if nothing happened. But something did, and now life speaks to them in karma's only language, whispers no one hears. But they feel daily. In this video, you'll uncover 5 subtle signs. Someone is facing the consequences of how they treated you, not in front of crowds, not in a courtroom, but in their private lives, in their minds, in the quiet moments no one sees. This isn't about vengeance. This is truth. And truth echoes louder than any shout. It's called silence. Nothing weighs heavier than pretending you're fine when you're not. But karma doesn't care about appearances. Karma works through feelings when no one's watching. The first sign it's quietly at play is when they act like life has never been better. The one who left you, betrayed your trust, hurt you, they walk away and make you the problem. Now, suddenly, they shine. They post new photos daily, smiling in places you never went, laughing with people they didn't have when they were with you. If you're not careful, you might believe it. You might scroll through their perfect moments and think, maybe they're truly happy without me. But here's the truth. No filter can hide it. Real happiness doesn't need proving. Fake happiness does. You've seen it. They go quiet for days after the fallout. Then, suddenly, an explosion. Photos, stories, inspirational quotes, staged selfies, a campaign of fake bravado. One moment, they destroy something real. The next, they're tagging number healing with someone new, as if guilt never existed. But look closer. The smile's too wide. The eyes are distant. The energy's frantic because happiness isn't loud. But insecurity always is. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters." Marcus Aurelius taught that the best revenge is to be unlike the one who hurt you. That's why a gentleman doesn't argue, doesn't retaliate, and certainly doesn't follow their story for closure. He watches. True peace doesn't perform. It simply exists. The more they try to prove they've moved on, the less likely they have. Karma doesn't announce itself. It arrives quietly each night as they lie in bed. Realizing the person they've become is why they lost someone who never wanted their pain. No amount of posts, no fake joy, no new partner can drown out a conscience that knows it ruined something real. They keep smiling for the camera. But you know the truth. The most exhausting lie is pretending you're at peace. Karma doesn't always strike like lightning. Sometimes it starts with a slow erosion, quietly taking what they thought they'd never lose. The second sign someone's quietly facing karma is when life starts reclaiming what they once held carelessly. Men think karma hits dramatically: a crash, a heartbreak, a betrayal. But karma is more precise. It's not loud. It doesn't rage loudly. It subtracts silently. Small losses creep in unnoticed. A friend stops replying. A colleague withdraws trust. An opportunity slips away without reason. They shrug it off, blaming life, bad luck, or coincidence until it repeats relentlessly. And then they see it. They're standing amid the ruins of what they mocked, dismissed, or ignored. They called you too sensitive, too caring, overreacting. when you were the only one acting with heart. You tried. You stayed up late, texting comfort when they were broken. You forgave when they forgot your worth. You believed in them when they doubted themselves. And how did they repay you? With rolled eyes. They mocked your loyalty, called you clingy, too soft for this world. They took your presence for granted, not as a gift. Then you stopped giving. You stopped fighting for someone who never showed up for you. Quietly, you walked away. At first, they felt free, untouched, unbothered. But then the silence began to echo. Message dwindled. Their circles shrank. The people they trusted turned out selfish, cold, calculating. Suddenly, every option they thought they had vanished. The support they took for granted gone. The comfort of being truly understood is irreplaceable. Because no one can fill the role you played for them, especially not someone new who only knows the version they pretend to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Don't waste time debating what a good man should be. Be one." And karma strips away all that doesn't align with truth. When someone wrongs a good man, they don't just betray you, they betray the version of themselves that once had peace, patience, forgiveness, and depth. Karma doesn't punish with obvious pain. It punishes by showing them exactly what they lost and forcing them to live without it. Every room feels colder. Every new bond feels fragile. Every victory feels hollow because deep down, they know they had something real and let it slip through their hands. Let them lose. Let them learn. Let them look around and realize nothing now feels as safe or sacred as what they had with you. For karma doesn't just take material things, it takes the version of themselves that held your love. No matter how they try, they'll never reclaim that peace. When they speak in riddles, but you're still the center of every word. Karma's whispering in their mind. The third sign they're quietly facing karma is when you linger in their thoughts. They'll never name you outright. But listen closely. They post vague quotes on social media, cryptic captions about betrayal, loyalty, fake people, or healing old wounds. They drop hints like, "Some people never see what they lost," or "Not everyone deserves my energy anymore." At first, you might think it's generic, but you know their language, you know their patterns, you feel their guilt. You've been there, scrolling through. You spot a post like a bullet wrapped in poetry. They don't tag you, don't name you, but every word screams your presence without saying it. It's as if they're fishing for your attention while hiding their intent. That's not power. That's not healing. That's a conscience crying out through the cracks of a crumbling ego. Their friends might not notice. No one around them might see. But you do because you love deeply enough to read their silence. And now that silence screams back at them, karma doesn't always punish with clear events. Sometimes it punishes with obsession, with thoughts they can't control, with regrets they can't swallow, with memories they thought were fleeting, but now can't escape. A Stoic doesn't seek revenge. A Stoic doesn't react. A Stoic doesn't post vague quotes. Because reacting is admitting, and silence is reclaiming power. Epictetus said, "If someone slanders you, live, so no one believes it. When they talk in circles about you, don't respond. Don't explain. Don't justify. Let them carry your name in silence. For the more they dodge, the clearer the truth becomes. You've moved on, but they haven't. Let them post their quotes, half-truths, and twisted stories, Let them heal loudly to hide. They're not healed at all. You don't need to be in their life to live in their mind. That's karma, and the mind is the loudest prison. Especially when the one you hurt doesn't look back. Stay silent, because silence, once again, says it all. When you betray a good man, you don't just lose him, you lose the ability to trust anyone who reminds you of him, even yourself. The fourth sign they're quietly facing karma is when they stop trusting others and slowly lose faith in themselves. It looks like self-protection at first. They tighten their circle. They stop opening up. They get selective with their energy. They say things like, "I don't trust anyone anymore," or "everyone's fake now." But beneath that tough exterior isn't strength, boundaries, or healing. It's fear. Fear born from the shadow of their own guilt. You've seen it. They used to be open. They laughed freely, trusted easily, spoke without care. But after what they did to you or others, something shifted. Not on the surface, but deep inside, quietly, slowly. Now they question everyone's motives, doubt before they trust, dissect every word, action, and silence, searching for signs someone might do to them what they did to you. Why? Because deep down, they know what they're capable of. When you know you've hurt someone who didn't deserve it, you start believing everyone has that same potential to destroy. This is karma's most intimate punishment, self-doubt. It isolates not with force, but with a slow erosion of the soul. The voice that once said, "I've got this under control," now whispers, "Maybe I'm the problem." That thought is terrifying, because when you doubt yourself, peace becomes impossible. No matter how quiet the room, Seneca said, "The man who does wrong rarely trusts others, for he knows what he's capable of." A Stoic knows this well. Your inner peace is tied to your conscience. When your actions betray your values, you don't just lose others, you lose yourself. That's karma. It's not always visible consequences. Sometimes it's the invisible cracks in your inner world, anunies you can't explain. A tightness in your chest when everything seems perfect. A voice inside saying you're not worthy. Even when they finally have something real, let them sit in that silence. Let them doubt everyone's motives. Let them fear the shadows they cast on others. Because karma doesn't just haunt with memories. It robs peace through suspicion. The worst prison isn't bars. It's when your conscience becomes the jailer. So, if they no longer trust, don't pity them. Don't fix them. Don't return to prove not everyone's the same. That's not your burden. Your role was never to redeem someone who chose destruction. You gave them truth. They answered with betrayal. Now karma delivers exactly what they deserve, not chaos, not drama, but the quiet collapse of their own being. Karma doesn't shout. It brings you face to face with yourself. The fifth and undeniable sign they're quietly facing karma is when life sends them a mirror image of themselves. Not just a bad match, not just the wrong person, but someone who reflects every wrong they did to those who loved them. And that mirror doesn't appear loudly. It arrives gently, charmingly, seductively, just as they once were when they earned your trust. They think they've found the one. The chemistry feels unreal. The connection deep, fast, magnetic. But they don't see it yet. They're not falling for something new. They're caught in karma's loop, designed to show them not who they love, but who they were. And this time, they're not in control. Remember how they made you doubt, as if you were never enough. Despite all you gave, now they chase texts that never come, wait for calls that get ignored, post for attention that stays silent. They played hot and cold with you. Now they love someone who burns them with silence, then floods them with affection, only to pull back and call them too sensitive. They mocked your vulnerability. Now their openness is ridiculed. They had your loyalty and walked away. Now they beg for commitment from someone who's half in, half out. At first, they justify it. They say, "This person's troubled, complicated, misunderstood." But slowly, a chilling realization creeps in. This is what I did to someone else. They won't say it aloud. They may never admit it. But that thought haunts them in quiet moments. It surfaces in the pause before sleep, in the silence after another failed attempt to connect. Their pain isn't random. It's not just bad luck. It's recognition of a pattern. And that's karma's justice in its most poetic form. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who hurt you." The universe doesn't seek vengeance. It seeks balance. It restores equilibrium not by striking them down, but by giving them the raw experience of the pain they caused, through someone they can't control, can't fix, can't predict. This isn't punishment, it's awakening. They laughed at your care. Now they weep for someone who doesn't care at all. They dismissed your needs. Now they're labeled needy by someone who holds their emotions hostage. They walked away like they were untouchable. Now they beg for someone to stay, to respond, to try. And that person just shrugs. And they realize, not all at once, but bit by bit, in unavoidable pain. They're not just hurt. They're being shown. And the mirror never lies. Let them face their match. Let them feel the confusion, the powerlessness, the sting of being seen, used, and then discarded, just as they once did to you. But this time, there's no one to blame, no one to manipulate, no one to twist the story for, because the person on the other side of this pain isn't a villain. It's them, in another form, with their old actions. This isn't revenge. It's reflection. Karma doesn't roar, attack, or destroy. It mirrors. When they ask why this is happening, the answer is simple. You're not being punished. You're being shown. You don't need to fight someone who's battling themselves. Karma doesn't need your help. It doesn't need your resistance. It doesn't need you to prove your story or beg the world to see your worth. It asks only one thing from you: your silence, your calm, your refusal to lower yourself to their level while they're trapped in lies, arrogance, and manipulation. You've stepped into a far stronger realm. Clarity. See, karma isn't just what happens to them. It's what happens to you. When you truly let go, you don't need closure, because peace is your closure. You don't need justice, because time will testify. You don't need them to feel what they did to you, because life already knows how to teach its lessons. Your task isn't to punish. Your task is to rise, to become so grounded, so steady, so strong from within that no one can shake your peace again. Not even the shadow of the one who hurt you can touch it. That's the Stoic way. We don't curse our enemies. We don't chase validation. We simply move forward, quietly, powerfully, with a discipline that karma respects deeply. If you're watching this and someone hurt you, someone who never apologized, who acted blameless, who moved on like you didn't matter. Let them go. Though they seem free, they're quietly haunted by one thing: they can't silence the truth. A man who lies to others sleeps soundly, but a man who lies to himself never rests. If this message hits home, don't waste energy chasing the past. Share in the comments which line struck you deepest. Let others know they're not alone. And if you're walking the path of silence and inner strength, join the Think Stoic 101 community. We don't just talk about healing. We train the mind to lead, not react. We build clarity. We forge discipline. We craft unshakable peace. Let karma do what karma does. You keep becoming the man they can never reach again. That's not revenge. That's evolution. And the world watches in silence. Because growth like that echoes without a word.